I recorded a previous video on empaths, and this is a similar vein about. I would often hear that people say, I feel the emotions of other people. I feel their pain or anger or what. And people like this are often people who I work with. They would try to stay away from people. They're happier on their own. Now, personally, I'm happier on my own. I like my own company, do my own thing, but I'm not at the mercy of the supposed energy or frequencies of other people, the emotions of other people, and I would now view it differently. So the word empath it's a very popular term these days, and it's very indulgent. It's very egoic. A lot of people like to use it to think that they feel spiritual, perhaps, or else to explain their own trauma or their own inner pain. So my view is, my higher self is drawing in everything I need constantly, every moment, for me to evolve. It's as simple as that. It's everything that's presented to me is an opportunity. It's the limited human awareness that narrows down, tries to put things in boxes, tries to understand, explain away, or escape from often. So we don't really know how to work with what is presented to us. We're looking for lessons, books, courses, guidance. I don't really deal with any of that. Everything is a frequency. Everything is a lesson. Just need to learn how to witness it, how to engage with it. It's all frequency. If you remember in the Matrix, the code, the lines of code, it's all lines of code. We can learn how to read this constantly. We can learn how to work with it constantly and integrate it, and thus, gain the lesson and evolve. Now, often people would say to me, this person entered my life, he's very angry or anxious or unhappy. I could feel such and such from another person. They'd say, what is the lesson? And my answer is, there is no lesson. The lesson is a frequency. A woman asked me yesterday, if I was perhaps some form of reflection for her, and if she was some form of reflection for me. And I'd say, exactly. So that's exactly what it is. So she said, what was the lesson? What did I represent to her? And her mind obviously wanted some sort of explanation, but it's a frequency. We don't need an explanation. Now, if we dive in, we can probably look back and somehow there's some female dynamic from my family or from a previous life. Personally, as time goes on, I pay less and less interest and attention in this whatsoever. There's more important things on the list. So if we find this information thrilling or enthralling, for me personally, the buzz of it passes very quickly. It's like hearing about a previous life. There was a time where I thought, I lived in Egypt and I had journeys in Egypt and working as a priest and working in temples and so on. Interesting. But as I've often said, in the dead of night, in depression or in pain, this kind of information is of no use. We're still continually trying to evolve and integrate our being, the God that we are. I am God. I am God consciousness. We all are. Everything is. We're just God expressing itself. So there are limitations in putting ourselves in boxes of whatever the previous life was, whatever we think we're doing here. So more and more I try to stay away from those limitations. So the point is that, I'll give you an example. I'm in Mexico just over a week, and I'm in this apartment maybe 2 nights, just over 2 nights. And last night I couldn't sleep, maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I just, after reading a bit, I went into stillness. So I just dropped into the body, be aware of the body, be aware I was in a dark room in the bed, and became aware of the connection and the frequency of this room, of the bedroom. And then, in the dark and with kind of moonlight coming in through the windows, I walked through this place. as present as I could be. So this apartment has been presented to me. It's a reflection of my energy. It's a reflection of me. It's been presented to me by my higher self for me to work with it. Now, I in a rush, I've been sick the last few days, and the whole stress of leaving Ireland had meant that I was pretty much struggling to be grounded and to be present. There was a lot of stress in leaving Ireland, as there often is in moving house or emigration or any of these big things. It took me days to come back to earth and for my system to slow down, and then I got sick, and I was sick for 3 or 4 days. So when I moved into this apartment, now I'm only here for a week and then I'm going away, and I will likely be back here for the month of November. But when I moved in here, it was a rush as well. So it's a lovely place, but I didn't connect with the frequency of the place. I just liked it. And that's how we're living. We're not feeling. And often, if I guide people into their body and into their emotions, I can ask how they feel. They might say anxious or tired or whatever it may be, and they think they feel it, and they tick that box. But if we can keep pushing, it's possible to feel that feeling in our fingertips. And I believe it's possible to feel that feeling in our inner organs, in our bones, in our fingernails, in our teeth, in our aura, and then in some greater expanse. So that's where I'm going. I don't want to just feel it, tick the box, move on. I want to feel the depth of that frequency all through my being. That's why I came here to Earth, is to honor and integrate these experiences, the frequencies of a painting, the frequencies of a sunset. And it's not just, it's a nice sunset, snap, take your photograph, move on. It's to allow the sunset to breathe through you. So we've heard the kind of stories of, that when you drink your coffee, that people are not really tasting the coffee in the present moment. It's the brain is telling them what the coffee tastes like, and often from, say, a previous experience. So if the coffee tastes delicious or horrid, they might notice that because it's unusual. But if it's in between, it's more a memory of the coffee. And often, yourself, people eat breakfast, we just shovel it into ourselves, we drink the coffee. You're not really, that's nice. We're busy, we're on our phones, we're getting ready for work, you're doing whatever you're doing. So we're not really tasting the coffee. Now, if you take that into the presence with your partner, with your kids, the sunset, a new apartment, making love, these moments, that the depth of awareness and presence that we can potentially feel is, as far as I know, unlimited. And we're not even scratching the surface. We're looking at the surface and we're thinking we're feeling it, So I walked through this apartment, which is small, and just felt it, by looking around at the walls. There's history here. It's an Airbnb, so the people who lived here long before, I don't know how old the place is, the amount of people who've passed through, the people who painted the walls, who built it, the paintings on the walls, those who painted the paintings, cleaners maybe who came in, owners, fires that were lit, meals that were cooked in the kitchen, the light that comes in through the windows, trees outside, there's a hotel next door, I can see a pool, and then there's a scatter of other apartments and houses. All of this is telling a story. All of this is sending an energetic frequency. And we walk through these places unconscious. We like them, connect with them. And I know that many people will hear this and say, no, I like my car, I like my painting, I've liked the sunset, no, I felt it, I feel these things. I guarantee you, give me 10 minutes with you, and I fucking guarantee you, that you're only scratching the surface of feeling. There's a quote I came across recently, and I'm going to read it. We have to allow ourselves to realize that we are complete fools. Otherwise, we have nowhere to begin. We have to allow ourselves to realize that we are complete fools. Otherwise, we have nowhere to begin. By Chogyam Trungpa. I'm probably destroying his name, but you get the point. If we begin at ignorance and we assume we don't know, it's beginner's mind. It's a good place to be for expansion and growth. So if we assume we're not feeling, if you walk into the supermarket or you meet that person in work, and if you feel their, as you would say, their anger or their anxiety, be ignorant. Assume you don't know. Assume two things. Assume, first of all, you're not really fully feeling it. You're only superficially feeling it, and maybe it can expand an awful lot more. And the second thing I would say is that if it's within you, it's you. Simple as that. If it's in your body, why is someone else's feeling of anxiety or anger or rage or whatever it may be within your body? Why, that's fucking bizarre. That doesn't make any sense to me. If it's within me, it's me. It's as simple as that. All consciousness is passing through me. The only reason I can recognize it in them is because I have it. Because I've experienced it. It's within me. So I'll bring it home. I'll mother it like it's my own. I don't really care if it's theirs or not, or if I'm picking up or misreading. It doesn't really matter. If it's in my body, I'm bringing it home. Walking through this place, my body is reading the frequency of the bricks of the floor, of the birds outside now this morning, of the light or dark, the paint, the watermarks on the ceiling. All of this reflects my being. We overlook all of this. All of this is room for expansion and growth. We think we need to read the book or go on the retreat or find the guru or spend money or whatever it may be. All this is free. I mean, I have to pay for the apartment, obviously, but the work is free. All it requires is my own presence, my own stillness. And what's the benefit of this, you might think? Well, the purpose and the benefit of witnessing bricks, birds, floor, whatever it may be, feeling that frequency, is an expansion of my own groundedness on earth. It quietens my mind. The rattle of nonsense brings me present to appreciate this apartment. I lived in my car, and I'll do a video on this in time. I lived in my car for 4 years. So I want to appreciate this apartment. I want to be present with the craftsmanship, the bricks, the fucking entire building, the windows, the light, the roof, the shower, the bed, the kitchen, the kettle, the gas cooker, the seats, the space that I now have. Just the same as when I'm with a friend, or I'm on the phone to a client, or I'm with a woman, or I'm having a delicious meal. I want to be present with that. I want to absorb the entire frequency if I can, devour all of it. Take it all in, allow it all to breathe and pass through me. The taste of that coffee, the voice of that friend, the kiss of that woman, the sunset, whatever it may be, to be as present with all of these things. That's why we've come here, to be on earth, to feel these experiences through the human body. Now, my experience is the more I do this and the deeper I move into it, the more I change. More grounded, more centered in myself. You know, as I said, someone asked me about happiness yesterday. Personally, I don't really believe in happiness. I'm not really interested. Comes and goes. Nice moment, nice smile. Yeah, nice sunset, happy. Ooh, comes and goes. I'm interested in freedom and power, my own liberation. That I'm free. I'm not at the mercy of who I am. I'm not at the mercy of my shadow and my unintegrated frequencies. And power, that I can be me. I can express myself to whoever, that I can move through the world with purpose if I move to. So perhaps begin with being open to the frequency of your home or car, steering wheel, coffee. Begin there and expand further into people around you, to allowing their frequencies to wash through you. Or I should say, allowing the reflection. They're only reflecting back to you. It's just you. Allow that to wash through you. Gradually center yourself. Now, some people will be overwhelmed because the darkness within some people, the addiction, sexual abuse, and so on, that we are all carrying down through the family line, and our own experiences, be it this life or previous lives, can be overwhelming. You might want to get in contact. That's why I coach shadow work over 8 weeks, because for some people it's fucking overwhelming, and it helps to have someone else to guide you through that consistently, ground you. I've been there, and I am there regularly, and I know how to work through it. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm quite active on Instagram, and what else can I tell you? I run an 8-week shadow work course. I run a follow-up course for anyone who did the 8 weeks, a refresher, anyone over the years who wants to return to that work or to bed in deeper, or a reminder. I also do intuitive guidance calls. It's an hour-long call, and you can speak, and I just hear where you are. I might be able to guide you or help ground you to find your own guidance through whatever you're presented with. Anyway, be well. Thanks for listening. If this resonates, if it feels good or beneficial or helpful to you, please share it with other people.